Hey, I'm gonna let Emily in. Sorry for the awkward, quiet beginning. Hello.
Can you see me?
I can't see you yet.
Hold on.
Ah, hi.
Hi.
Oh my gosh, it's so good to see you.
Good to see you too.
I was like,
I was worried if I should have little earphones.
no, we'll be able to hear you fine. I just, like I said, my family is really loud.
Okay.
So I figure with the headphones, maybe you'll be able to hear me because they're all still off apparently today. I didn't realize it's Martin Luther King Jr. Day. So
I
my
didn't either.
son's still at home all day and my husband got
Oh,
called
wow.
off work. I'm like, oh, cool. We're going to try anyway. But actually, I think my lovely husband went to get me a beer. So that's nice.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
Yeah. So how have you been?
I've been good, considering this crazy year that we've had. So I'm looking
Right?
forward to 2021 being better, hopefully. So.
Yeah, no kidding. I know. What have you guys been up to? I know. So the last time, okay, I've been able to sell merch for you a bunch. I feel like a bunch. I don't know. I always love it. And I was thinking about it, and it's been two festivals, right? One in Loveland, and one New West Fest, and
Yeah,
then Hody's, I think, and then
yeah, we had our
the Magic Rat.
CD release party and
Yeah. And so that's what I was going to say is last time I was hanging out, you guys were releasing an album last December, right?
yeah, can you believe
Yeah.
it's been over a year?
I know. Like, what happened?
Yeah,
That's
I
bonkers.
know. Yeah, so yeah, we this last year in 2020, we had I think a total of 3 live shows. So it was a lot different.
Yeah.
No festivals. We had a little drive-in show. We had a show in February that was great before everything just went nuts. But yeah, it's been
Uh-oh. We're chopping up a little bit.
different year, and I think. Oh, am I talking loud enough? Maybe I should
No,
get
you're
closer.
loud enough. It was
Okay.
chopping up, you know what I mean? Like the internet got all laggy for a second and it was
Oh
like, oh
no.
no, we're still, but I'm right by the router, so I'm hoping it's not me because
Well,
otherwise I
it's not
got
me.
real
Yeah.
problems.
We'll see.
Okay, so sorry, I interrupted
Oh, that's okay. Yeah. So, we had a show in February that was normal, and then everything went nuts. So, I think first quarter this year will probably be about the same. But I'm hoping, this summer, by this fall, things will start getting back to normal with the vaccine. So we can always hope, right?
No kidding. I mean, it's been rough. It's been a rough year. I mean, luckily I'm like nannying too in between, but I can't like, did you guys all have to find new gigs or did you already have a day job you were doing in
Yeah.
addition?
Both Chris and I, so we had been down in Denver and we just moved back to Fort Collins, which I'm so happy about. But we have had day jobs. So we had that, of course, as income to fall back on, thank goodness, because we hadn't done a lot of other things with music other than live performance. So it pretty much obliterated that income stream. So thank goodness, my job maintained Chris's day job, he got laid off. So, it's just been one of those things, but we've been okay that way. But it made me think about a lot of different things. And one of the things which I'm glad that the music district is doing is that they're focusing some workshops on sync licensing. So, developing other avenues for income with music, in addition to live performing. So you're not just reliant on one thing,
Yeah. Phones were not working and it was like, I think it was,
Oh,
was making it echoey. I'm like, oh, maybe this is it. Cause I never tried the headphones before. I'm sorry.
no. Okay. Oh, no problem.
Yeah. So that's rad that the music district is doing that. Like, I mean, so they're doing a lot of stuff, right? They're doing like band highlights and stuff to like kind of keep everyone active or whatever. That's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Both, both like Foco MA and Bohemian Foundation, they've been great over this last year to, help musicians have something, to work on and certain avenues to perform that are still safe. And so, yeah, just one day at a time trying that. But it's interesting for sure. So the sync licensing is actually something that we've been wanting to explore. I actually got a little
sync licensing. What's sync
so,
licensing?
so that is when you submit your music for use in commercials or television,
Oh, cool.
that kind of thing. So, um, you know, they look for, you know, your music to be, you know, very polished and commercially appealing. So the music district is going to do, you know, some workshops on that, and so it should be good. Yeah.
That's really neat. Well, and it'll be perfect for you guys. You are so approachable. I feel like I could take any friend to a show of yours and they would have
Oh,
fun.
good.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so
That's
much
good to
fun.
hear.
Yes, I always love being at your shows. It's just a good time. And the people who go to see you are so sweet. Like every time I'm at the booth, they're just like, I love
Oh,
you.
yeah.
You know, like they're
Aw.
always have something nice to say. It's a cool environment, you know. I'm more like I frequent the jam scene more, you know, like jam rock.
Yeah.
So it's cool to see the difference, you know. Sometimes you get some like older cats in your crowd, you know, that are just like
Oh,
so
yeah.
nostalgic and stoked on life. I love it. It's so cool.
Yeah.
And how cool that you're in a band with your husband. How long have you guys been a band?
Yeah, so we started dating, and he was doing more acoustic guitar and singer-songwriter stuff just on his own for several years, you know, like 13 years before we got together. So he had been in the industry doing that on his own for quite some time, and he played with different musicians as well over that time period. And you know, we started dating, and it was kind of romantic story, I guess, but without being too gushy, he was writing a song to me, and I was like, and he hadn't finished it yet, and we kind of finished it together, and I sang a little harmony, and then it just kind of happened. We started writing together and performing together. So it was just the two of us at first, with a little acoustic guitar, me with my tambourine, and you know, so we did that for, you know, a little bit. We were in Colorado Springs actually, and we wanted to have a change, and I was ready. I wanted to move back to the ocean. So we took off to San Diego for about a year and a half, and we met some band members there. We got some recording done. We did a little performing there, and then we decided we missed Colorado, and we moved back to Fort Collins, which we hadn't lived before, and it was, you know, a blessing in disguise because we love Fort Collins. This is where we want to stay for a long time. So we moved back to Fort Collins, and I had an issue with, or I started a different day job. We thought, well, let's try Denver. So we moved down to Denver for about a year and a half. And, you know, by this time we had a full band together, and, you know, band members that would play in Denver and Fort Collins, but we just missed Fort Collins. So we're back at it here, and hopefully by the end of the year we'll be performing again. But I can't say enough positive things about Fort Collins and the music industry, especially with the support of women here, and both behind the scenes and you know, who are musicians and performers. I think there's a really positive community here, especially with women, that I haven't seen, you know, other places. I think it's different and unique, and really, you know, is commendable. And I'm certainly glad to be here for sure that way.
I'm glad you guys were there. I remember you said you were going to Denver. That was last summer, right? Wait,
Yeah, actually almost 2 years ago. Yeah.
2019. Oh gosh,
Yeah.
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 The summer of 2019. Yeah, I was pregnant. I was like, yeah, I'm pregnant.
Yeah.
And yeah, you had mentioned you were moving to Denver. I'm like, man, I feel like Fort Collins is such a good fit for you guys. Like just this area in general is just such a good, perfect fit for you guys. And like you said, the music community here is there's a lot of powerful females in this, you know, community.
Yes.
It's really cool. And I'm just like diving in now, but I mean, I've lived here for 6.5 years, but I worked at the Mish for a couple of years, and then like
Yeah.
really started to get to know like Danny Grant, and she's awesome, like such an
Yes.
inspirational woman. And then from there, realizing that Pat Stryker is the solo like contributor to New West Fest, like
Yeah.
I was like,
Awesome.
what?
Awesome. Yeah.
It's so cool. It's so cool.
Yeah. The fact that you mentioned Danny. So when we first got into town and put our band together, Danny was actually integral in really helping us as a band with, Spokesbuzz, which was her nonprofit organization, which was amazing, and unfortunately is no longer here. But Danny still is here. But we can't thank her enough for getting us started in the community, because she was a real proponent and so encouraging to us. I can't thank her enough, and really helped us get our foot in the door in Fort Collins. So that was amazing. She's a great person, and I really hope that things are going well with her, with the Aggie and the Mish, that they'll continue when things get back to normal.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I can't say enough positive things about Danny. And then, the Bohemian Foundation with New West Fest has given us tons of opportunities. And again, another, wonderful woman that, heads that up. And there are a lot of women that work for the foundation that they're just wonderful,
Yeah.
both behind the scenes, and they're musicians themselves. And it's just, I think it's a really unique community that way. And I'm very thankful that we're here.
Yeah, and I think it's actually it feels like it's getting stronger. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Maybe it's just because I'm like now feeling like I'm kind of getting to be part of it, but to me it feels like it's getting stronger. But I don't know.
I know, I agree with you. Absolutely.
It's so
It's
cool.
really awesome.
I think that's how I actually came to know you guys, was because of the Mish Initiative. Because I
Yes.
was working on their board when you and Chris applied. So funny with the like fake teeth and the
Oh yeah.
and it was so cute. I was like, I love them.
Oh good.
I think Cabrina maybe told you that I
Oh yeah.
liked doing merch or whatever. But yeah, it was like
Yes, that's right.
full
Yep.
circle. Yeah.
I know. And that was, the Mission Initiative helped us with recording our last album. So
Oh really?
oh, yeah.
I like space
Yep.
it. I don't know. It's so weird how that amount of time from like 2017 to 2019 felt so spaced out, and now 2020 feels like it's been 5 years long. So
I know. Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
2021, so hopefully things change.
Yeah. Let's hope.
Did you see the bubble tables they have at the Mish now?
No.
Oh my gosh, they just posted today on Instagram, and I'm like losing my mind over it, because on the tables closest to the river, so there's like 4 tables, I think, or maybe 5, and they have these bubble domes over them, so you can like sit outside and eat in the
Oh my
winter,
goodness.
and they're
Oh,
heated,
that's
and they
awesome.
have lights. I'm like, that is the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, we'll have to go up there because
Yeah, and I'm like, that would be cool for shows too, or I
oh
mean,
yeah,
I don't
I
know.
didn't think about that.
Like, it gets cold. I don't know. It gets cold up there in
Yeah.
the fall. So I don't know. It's super neat. I wonder how much those things run, getting really innovative since we
Yeah,
can't
I don't
do it
know. That's a good
normally.
question. Yeah.
Are
I
you
know.
working
Everybody's got
on
heaters now.
yeah, however
Yeah,
we can make it work. But
I know. I know it. Yeah, as far as new stuff, we've been writing a lot. Chris and I, right now, what we do is we'll record like, rough tracks that we will then bring into the studio. But that gives us an opportunity to send, over email or link to the band so they can learn things. And then we'll go into the studio with, understanding the songs and knowing exactly what we want to do. So we've been working on a lot of new material, actually recording some covers as well, which we haven't recorded covers. We play a couple here and there in our sets, but that should be interesting. But that's going to be our big focus, I think, this year, is getting, things out digitally that are recorded on a regular basis, song here and there. So that's what we want to do. And that's primarily been our focus. you know, and then hoping, you know, as well that we can perform someday again.
Yeah, no
So,
kidding. I'm ready for live shows. I'm like, I don't know. I mean, it was really, I mean, there are a handful of things that we could do this summer, you know, as far as like the drive-in or,
mhm.
you know, the Mish had seated shows where it was super spread out
Yeah,
and like super small capacity, but those are really cool. It just is a bummer that it's more expensive to see, you know, it's more expensive
yeah,
and there's no opportunity for, you know, street teams or promotions so that you can go to shows for free, you know, like
yeah.
that's why I started selling merch in the first place, is just like I just want to go see live music. And I had just moved here, so I didn't have a lot of money or anything, you know, so kind of bums me out that that's the situation where we don't have, you know, it's just harder for people to be able to go, especially with the employment, you know, a lot of people are unemployed right now, so
Oh
that
yeah,
they can't even afford it anyway. It's a mess. I'm just ready for like
yeah.
lawn shows or, you know, like I want it to be summer and be able to,
I know, I know. Yeah,
but
we have played. We used to play. You know, we do a lot of variety of different shows when we play in a normal situation. But a lot of them were free, and so that was nice. You know, that people could come. They didn't have to, you know, spend a lot on a ticket. But you know, because of the restrictions, they can't do that as much anymore right now. So it's kind of, yeah, it's kind of a bummer.
yeah,
Hopefully,
I
we'll get past this.
yeah, with the vaccine, hopefully we can start getting out more. It's like I'm so ready. So when I started this podcast, I wanted like my goal was to highlight both like really great successes women have had in the industry, just like on their own, you know, on their own or with a team of whatever, but also to highlight um, like I don't want to say traumas. I've said that a lot, and I don't think that's the right word. Even like I don't want to say, I don't want it to be super heavy or you know if it doesn't feel
Sure.
right to you, but like things that you've noticed are different for you being a woman in the music community versus your male
Yeah.
counterparts. Does anything like
Yeah. So
stand out?
yeah, I thought about this. And, you know, I will say overall, thank goodness my experience has been very positive. But, you know, there's always things that happen that make you think, and you know, think, oh, is this, you know, because I'm, you know, a woman, you know. So I don't, you know, I think it's women struggle in a lot of different industries, like in the jobs I worked at in the past, they've been in engineering and science and some manufacturing, which are all heavily dominated by men. And um, I think the music industry is pretty much the same, especially when you get up into higher, you know, management levels. There aren't as many women, and it can be hard to um, infiltrate that. I think, you know, it's a long process, like with these other industries, to, you know, get into that. There are, you know, are stereotypes and stigmas that we have to get past. But for me, my personal experience, I would say, with music, I've only had a handful of things that were, you know, not super positive. So I guess one thing that I recall was, you know, there was an article written about our band, and you know, we said that, you know, both Chris and I are songwriters, and you know, we you know, he writes some songs and I write some songs, and you know, we collaborate on some songs. And the article, you know, we got the draft that was going to be published. You know, it kind of took that, you know, crediting me as a songwriter out, and it basically only said that I sang nice harmonies. And so I was like, okay, well, that's a compliment. But, and then we wrote back and said, well, you know, if you could include that I'm a songwriter too, and you know, that would be
Yeah.
great, you know. And it was published, and I write great harmony, or I sing great harmonies. I'm not, you know, I wasn't credited as a songwriter, so that was a little bit rough for me to read. But you know,
Even after asking them though, that's not.
yeah, I know it was kind of weird, but so you know, it's one of those things. You're like, well, you know, eventually that, you know, people know that I'm a songwriter too, so you know, it's all right. you know, and I will say that, you know, my songwriting has, you know, I guess developed more, you know, over the time since I've been with Chris, because initially we would write chord progressions with just his guitar, and now, you know, I'm using the piano to write now, and things like that. But, you know, it is what it is, one of those things. So I just kind of brushed it off. There, you know, there was a time that we were out watching a band that we knew that was performing live, and we'd known the lead singer for, you know, a few years, and he kept asking Chris to come up on stage, you know, as Last Call Romance, to sing a song or two, and, you know, and it was a small venue, but he didn't ask me, you know, so, and I don't know why that was, but that was just a little weird. So, you know, may or may not have been attributed to the fact that I was a woman, but, you know,
Right. And
yeah,
I
things
think
like that.
yeah, that's always the case, kind of. It's like, I don't know if it was because I'm
Yeah,
a woman, but I kind of feel like it's because it was a
yeah,
it's always hard.
yeah.
I mean, it's not always hard to tell. Sometimes you can very much tell, but a lot of the
Oh
times,
yeah,
like this stealthy sexism where you're like, hold on.
yeah, yeah, definitely. And, you know, um, I've had, you know, times when, you know, not specifically with the music industry, I'm just got, you know, just more of a feeling that you get that they question your intelligence level, or, you know, things like that. And I've had overt situations outside of the music industry where, you know, your intelligence is questioned just because, and, you know, it's because of your gender. So you know, I'm a big proponent, you know, with my daughter, and telling her, you know, you just have to get past this. And unfortunately, I think women in general have to kind of prove themselves sometimes in certain situations, prove their intelligence, prove their viewpoint as being valid, whereas, you know, men can come in and sometimes just, you know, their viewpoint is accepted.
Yeah,
So
they act like they know what they're talking about. They don't
yeah,
even actually have.
yeah, and sometimes they don't, you know, but, you know, you know, it's just accepted as fact. So
Yeah.
I definitely think, you know, we still have a ways to go, but thank goodness we're making progress slowly but surely that way. And especially 2020, you know, not just with women, but with gender identity and with, you know, racism. I think, you know, it's shown us that we still have a lot to work on as a society, but at least all of us, I think, are becoming more aware,
Yeah.
and that's good.
Yeah, there's a lot of intersectionality between like all of
Hmm.
these social issues, and I think just having these conversations is like a huge step in the right direction. You know, I'm also in this like jam scene racial, like white racial discussion group. I don't know the actual name of it, but it's it's not something I ever thought I would have participated in. You know, I like it wouldn't have even crossed my mind until 2020, and things got really, you know, heated and
Yeah.
stressful and, you know, scary for them. I as a white female, if I'm saying it's scary, like when it comes to like these racial issues and things especially, it's like, how scary must it be for someone, you know, someone else who's like truly experiencing it every day, you know?
Oh yeah.
But um
Definitely.
I'm glad that, you know, technology, you know, we have the ability to have conversations over thousands of miles, you know. Everyone's like, I hate social media. I'm like, but it's kind of cool sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, and we can stay connected. We can still talk about things even if we're in our own home. So that's really good. But
Yeah.
yeah, I totally agree. I was talking to my daughter about that the other day about, you know, as a white female, we don't have the because she was talking to a gentleman that was like, well, I don't understand, you know, all lives matter, la la la. And it's like, it's not about that, you know, because what it's about is that, you know, we don't have to worry if we get pulled over, you know, by a policeman. We don't worry about being shot
Exactly.
because of the color of our skin,
Mhm.
but someone else does.
Yeah.
And we don't experience that every day, let alone the subtle racism that exists every day. So, you know, people have different experiences in life, and that needs to be brought to attention,
Yeah,
for
and
sure.
as the awareness grows, then that like overt like hate and anger kind of falls away because you realize that we're all just kind of trying to get through it, you know? And I think this
Yeah,
year was a big you know, eye opener in that light. Like we're all really, really just trying to get through it. You know, like we should be supporting
yeah,
each other because it's been rough. And, you know, especially with like the mental health issues and stuff that come up when you are totally stopped from doing what you normally do in life, you know, like some people
yeah,
don't have the wherewithal to hold on really, you know. So I don't know. That's kind of why I'm doing this because you know, I feel like our generation was raised somehow to like tear each other down. I don't
hmm,
know. I mean, that's been my experience anyway. You know, I didn't have any the friendships I did have growing up were very like superficial it felt and like maybe not totally true friendships, you know, and like drop each other, you know, so fast, you know, over usually over boys or some nonsense, you know, or like you're competing with each other all the time, you know, and I'm kind of I've gotten tired of that, and I don't know if it's just because I'm getting older or what, but I think a lot of it was like, you know, our president and our you know culture
yeah,
at large.
yeah. That definitely was like it created. You know, I think it encouraged animosity and, you know, lashing out at a different viewpoint, rather than, you know, civil discussion and how can we make things better, for
Yeah.
sure. And I think, you know, the interesting thing that you bring out is like, so for me, it was kind of, I had kind of a different upbringing where I was raised in kind of a very religiously strict environment. So we couldn't have, you know, friends outside of that religion. And then when I was in my mid 20s, I decided that, you know, that wasn't for me. And so I kind of had to start over with all friends, some family. Um, and, and that was kind of a challenging time. So even having experienced that, you know, having a tough skin, quote unquote, this last year has been hard for me sometimes, you know, and just mentally, uh, sometimes I could catch myself, you know, starting to feel down. And part of that is because we need that, you know, interaction, but we need it to be positive, you know, with other people. And I think too, I noticed like even being a mom, and now my daughter's grown up, but I was, you know, I had her at 19 and there was always a, you know, kind of a judgment there, you know, that I had to overcome, you know, you probably.
Because like I didn't even realize you had kids, and you said that to me the other day, and I was like, hold on, what? Because I don't, and it's I had my son, I got pregnant at 19 and had my first at 20, you know, so I'm right
Yeah,
there. All my friends were Catholic, and when they found out I was pregnant,
that
they
was
all
it.
vanished, you know what I mean? And it was kind of like starting totally from scratch,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and
Yep.
it's depressing, like it's hard, like you
Yep.
know, like it gets dark, you know, on your own. So I'm sorry I
Yep.
cut you off. I just had no
No, no, I'm glad.
idea.
Yeah, yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. And I know that I wasn't the only one who felt that way, you know, whether it be other people who don't know you judging you, or even your friends that, you know, kind of deserted you, which kind of happened with me. So yeah, that's tough. But even with all that, you know, this year's been tough to handle too. So I'm glad that, you know, we can talk about being a young mom and what that felt like. And I also felt, you know, that I kind of had to put my, and I don't regret it, but part of it was my thinking I had to put all of my, you know, things that I love to do and you know, outside, you know, just stop them and just focus on being a mom. And,
Mhm.
you know, now looking back on that, I didn't necessarily have to do that, you know, 100%. But so I guess there's a lot of things that you learn, you know, from being a young mom. And I'm glad I, you know, had her young, because it gave me a lot of purpose in life, and it gave me a lot of maturity to deal with, responsibility. So now that she's older, I can focus on, a little bit more fun stuff like the band and
Yeah.
things I love to do. Yeah, so you're never too old to try something new. That's
No,
what I
seriously.
would say.
It was so close. It was seriously like 2 months before I got pregnant in 2019. I was just like, I think I'm done. I'm pretty sure I'm done because my oldest was like 11 or whatever, and I'm like, now we could just grow up together, like it could just be like going and having fun and traveling without like, a ton of things to worry about because he's can pretty much fend for himself now. And
Yep.
it's kind of like starting over and it's like,
Yeah.
oh.
Surprise. Yeah.
And I'm so, obviously very, very grateful and very, very happy, but it's still so funny
Oh yeah.
because I was right there where I was like, now I get to do me,
Yeah.
And I always kind of do. Like my husband is super supportive in that way, where I always do get a little free time to myself. Do it. Normally it's concerts though, so this year has been a little rough in that aspect, I guess, because it's like
Yeah.
that's like the one thing I do. I don't like to go out to eat even or anything, which the restaurants are open, but I'm like, I just want to go see a concert. But
Oh yeah. No, I did that a lot. Like if my daughter would be with her dad, at certain points, I would go to a concert by myself
yeah,
because I love, I would say I love live music, and I did that a lot. And I didn't think twice about going by myself and doing something by myself because, you could just kind of blend into the crowd and enjoy the experience. And
yes.
there's something to be said for that for sure. And
And you make a lot
I'm
of
right
friends.
there with you. What's that?
You make a lot of friends that way too, I feel like,
Oh
where
yeah.
if you're with, and this kind of is a woman issue too, where if you're with your husband, then like people won't even approach you at all. I feel like,
Yeah.
like you can't, I don't know. It's an interesting dynamic, I guess, because then men are more willing to approach you when you're by yourself, which you want to make friendships, but it also is like, okay, but where's your head at? And that's
Yeah,
a whole
not
other
that kind of friendship, but yeah.
like,
It's just friends, not friends,
it's weird, but yeah, I mean, that's so cool. I always felt like we had a lot in common, but we don't. I mean, I wouldn't say that we know each other well. You're my friend,
Yeah,
definitely, but we definitely have our own things going on, right? But
sure.
all your merch is made by you, which is just the coolest thing ever.
Oh, thanks.
It's just that female touch, you know what I mean? Like I feel like all male bands don't understand merch at all. And
Oh, yeah. Well, it's important, I think, to have something,
yeah.
I'm sure if I had like, millions of dollars, we'd probably be having, more stuff produced, but not by hand, but, but still, it's fun for me. I've always liked crafting and I love painting. And so I've always done that. And, since I was little, so it's just another avenue that I can, create something, which is fun.
Yeah. So did you just like I shouldn't say just, but did you were you just dabbling in art and music before, like till you met Chris, or was it like you had always been doing these things in the like most of the time in life? Like did you paint a lot,
Yeah,
prior to the last few years and everything like that? Because I
yeah.
didn't realize you painted even until I saw your website, I
Okay.
think this year, and I was like, that's
Yeah.
incredible! It's so cool.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I just started the website, so that's new. But yeah, so like ever since I was little, I always loved um, both painting and drawing and also singing. And so, I remember drawing since I was, like 4 years old. And so throughout school, I was able to do that a little bit more, even though, how I grew up was a little restrictive. But that wasn't, that was something I could do. That was a quiet hobby that I didn't have to go out and be with people or, be in front of an audience or something like that. But as far as singing, I always loved singing. And even I can remember in elementary school and junior high, I always wanted to be in the talent show, you know, singing, whether it was the Donna or the Bangles or whatever it was. So I did that, and the funny, I guess I could relate to, I don't know if you ever saw the movie Superstar with Molly Shannon. So that's exactly what happened with me. I was that person, and you know, so I snuck into talent shows without my mom knowing,
Oh my.
and and I would sing. Then I, you know, there was a couple times I did get in trouble for that because I wasn't supposed to do that. But so I always enjoyed that. When I was in 6th grade, you know, I got A's on my report card. My dad said, "What do you want?" I was like, "Oh, I want a Casio keyboard." So I got a Casio keyboard. So I did little things like that. You know, 5th grade, I played the flute a little bit before band was an issue. So,
Oh,
you know, I was able to do that. What's that?
Band was an issue too.
Yeah, because it had, you know, certain types of songs that I wasn't supposed to play. But I was in 5th grade, I was able to do it, and I was first chair. So
Nice.
I still have my flute. So yeah, maybe I'll put that on an album here someday. But yeah, so I always did that. But actually in high school, I was into painting more. And I did get full ride scholarships to art school, and you know, I won some art competitions and things, but and I wasn't, you know, able to pursue that after that. But yeah, I've always loved it. And even like before Chris and I got together, I was trying to figure out how to record some music electronically, just vocals and FL Studio, which is a little program. And I didn't get that far, but now we're doing other stuff with real instruments. So, you know, I feel like life, you know, you can go away from certain things and come back to it. And, you know, it's been like that with me, but I'm hoping now that I have more of a focus that, you know, I can have my creative outlets be more of a regular thing, and maybe someday even, be the full-time avenue
Yeah.
for work. So I'm taking baby steps. So
You would fit in perfect with my girl gang. I have like a bunch of lady friends in Fort Collins that we actually all migrated from the Midwest, or most of us. Some of us are from the East Coast, but um, in the all like artists and musicians, they all play trumpet or play.
oh
It's
yeah.
I think it's so cool because I felt like for the longest time there weren't other people like that out there. Like I felt like I was such a nerd, and then I
Yeah.
started collecting these
Me too.
friends that do crafts. Like I'm always like, let's have a craft night.
Ooh, that would be fun. Yeah, count me in
Yes,
next
yes.
time.
And my one friend, she actually hosts like burn and brews and stuff like that. So
Oh, wow.
wood burning, and
Oh, cool. I used to love to do that.
yeah, and she's like selling kits now where you can, like, it's paint by numbers too. So you like burn, you trace the burn, and then she's got like
Oh, cool.
little paint kit. She sends you like the burner, the paint, the wood, and then you burn it and then paint by numbers, and you get this like beautiful piece of art. And it's just the
Oh,
coolest.
that's awesome.
Yeah, and she's like hosting virtual ones now, since we have to be
Oh,
social distant
cool.
or whatever. But I'm like, we're gonna have to do like a major, like maybe a New Belgium or something burn where there's a
Oh,
bunch
that
of
would be
days
fun.
we could all hang out and do some crafts, because I feel like that's such a good way to bond.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I know I would love that. So that's
That's,
awesome.
that's so cool. So you went to art school? Where'd you go?
Well, I didn't. I got
Oh,
scholarships, but I
you
was
got grants and stuff, but then you couldn't go.
yeah,
So where are you
yeah, but that's
from
okay.
originally?
So so my family, I was born in Massachusetts, and most of my extended family's out there. We moved to Colorado when I was about 5. And for the most part, I grew up in Colorado Springs. And I had, actually, speaking of art, I had a wonderful art teacher in high school, Miss Baldrick, and she was just fabulously talented watercolorist and a great teacher. So I learned so much from her. So she's another inspirational woman in my life. But yeah, and then in my early to mid adulthood, I had lived short time in Hawaii, San Diego, then back to Colorado, then San Diego, then back to Colorado. So,
That's fun.
Yeah, so that was a neat experience. But yeah, for the most part, Colorado girl.
Nice. I love it. I've met a lot of people from Massachusetts over the last, I would say, year or so. Um,
Oh wow.
I'm just from Indiana, so I don't like I'm like know a lot of Midwesterners, but I'm just
Yeah.
now I'm like, cool, I know people from all over the place now, It's just
Yeah.
starting out like in such a like small town Midwest area and then oh wow, I'm like coast to coast now. It's pretty neat.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, Boston's a great town if you ever are able to visit there. It's
I
awesome.
really want to go out that way. Just the history and everything. Everything's just so much more historic than I'm used to. I would love to check it out. I don't think
Yeah.
I can handle the winters there, but
Yeah, they're cold. Yeah, same here. It's like
yeah.
we're kind of lucky with our winters with the sun coming out. So
Yeah,
sure.
seriously. I remember telling people in Indiana that I was gonna move to Colorado and they're like, "Oh, you hate the winter here. Good luck there." And I'm like, you obviously haven't left Indiana very much.
I know. It's actually good. Yeah, it's not
It
bad.
is. So,
Yeah.
but there it's like gray 360 days a year, or 300 days a year, whereas here it's sunny
Yeah.
300 days a year. So I'm into it.
Yeah.
But I don't want to eat up your whole night. I didn't really set a time limit on this or anything, but
Yeah, this has been great.
yeah.
I really appreciate this, this is really nice of you
Yes,
to
and I
ask
would
me to
love
do
to
it.
anytime you guys have any music you want to spread out into the world or anything, let me know. We'll meet up again or something. I love
Yeah,
keep in
that
touch.
would be great.
I
I would
mean,
love that.
and then of course when live stuff happens, let me know if you need a merch lady. But
Yes, yes, absolutely. Hopefully sooner than later, right?
yes, and I'm so happy you're in Fort Collins now because we'll have to do a local gals like craft night or something sometime soon. Whenever
Yes,
there's,
absolutely.
I
I would
guess
love that.
I guess we just need space, right? I don't know what the rules are anymore, but
Yeah, maybe if the weather's better, I know if the weather's better, we can do something
yeah,
outdoors.
that's true. Yep, I have a PA, so we could. You guys might too, but
Oh yeah, we do.
yeah, I have a microphone. Miranda could teach us some stuff.
Yeah, yeah, we'll figure it out for sure.
Yes, but thank you for being with me. It was so
Oh, thank you.
I miss seeing you guys.
Yeah, I
All
miss you
right.
too.
Yeah,
Okay,
happy 2021, and we'll see you soon.
thank you. You too. All right,
Bye.
bye.